She cheated at her sister's party and claimed it was an accident. Hey man, I hope you're doing all right. I've been watching your channel for a while now, and I honestly never thought I'd be one of those guys writing in. I'd hear these insane stories from other men around the world, shake my head and think, damn, I feel for that dude. Glad it's not me. Well, here I am now, one of those stories. My name's Owen. I'm 35 years old, and up until about 2 years ago, I thought I had a pretty decent life. I had what I thought was a solid marriage, a beautiful daughter, a steady job, a mortgage, and the usual headaches, but nothing too serious. I thought I hit the jackpot when I met my now ex-wife. Man, was I wrong. Let me take you back to when we met. I met her at a bar through mutual friends. She was a party girl, always had a drink in her hand, loud, dancing. The life of the party type. At first I wasn't into it, but somehow she pulled me in. She was fun, she had a contagious laugh, and honestly, she had this energy that just made you want to be around her. At first I thought maybe I could help ground her, and she could help me loosen up a bit, and in some ways that was true. Early on, though, I made it clear. I'm not into the party scene long term. I was honest with her. I told her straight up, if we're going to take this seriously, the party life's got to slow down. To her credit, she agreed. After about 6 months of dating, she started staying home more. We'd cook dinner, watch movies, go on weekend hikes. I thought, okay, this woman's ready to build something real. 2 years in, I proposed. She said yes with tears in her eyes. I thought I was the luckiest man alive. Our wedding wasn't anything extravagant, just close friends and family. She looked stunning. I remember thinking, this is it. This is my forever. Everything felt right. 3 years into the marriage, we had a little girl. I thought she was mine. Man, I fell in love with that baby the second I saw her. Her tiny little hands, the way she gripped my finger. It's something I'll never forget. I named her after my late grandmother. I did all the things a father is supposed to do. Changed diapers, stayed up at night, sang lullabies, the whole 9 yards. I was all in. For the first few years, things were fine, but around year 7, I started to notice some cracks. Nothing dramatic at first, just little things. My wife would come home from work and immediately pour a glass of wine. Said she was stressed, tired. She'd say things like, I miss being able to have fun. I tried being understanding. I get it. Parenting is exhausting. But the way she said it made me feel like I was the one sucking the fun out of her life. Then came her sister's birthday party. Now, typically, we'd go to events together. That was kind of our thing. Not in a clingy way, but we genuinely enjoyed doing things as a pair. This time, though, we decided I'd stay home with our daughter. She said she wanted me to see what it was like solo parenting on a weekend night while she got a break. Fair enough, I thought. I even encouraged her to go and enjoy herself, but I had a weird gut feeling. You ever get that? That pit in your stomach where something just feels off? I remember watching her walk out the door in this tight dress and heels and thinking, she's gonna get wasted. I almost said something, but I didn't want to be controlling. I tried brushing it off. Big mistake. That night, around 11 p.m., I got a call from someone I never expected. My cousin's wife. She was at the party and sounded rattled. Owen, I don't know how to say this, but your wife is in one of the rooms, on her knees, with some guy she just met here. I froze. I said, what? You sure? Are you messing with me? She wasn't. She sent me a photo. Not graphic, but enough. It was dark, a side angle, but you could clearly tell what was going on. And yep, that was my wife, all right. I didn't call her. I didn't text her. I just sat there. I felt numb. My daughter was asleep in her crib, and I was sitting on the floor in the hallway staring at that damn picture. I couldn't cry. I couldn't yell. I just sat there thinking, what the hell just happened? She didn't get home until about 2 a.m. One of her friends helped her to the door. She was stumbling, laughing, completely hammered. She leaned on me and tried to kiss me. I backed up and pushed her gently toward the couch. That's when her friend started screaming, saying I was being abusive. I looked at them both and said, I know what you did at the party. I know you gave some guy a blowjob in the back room. That's when the gaslighting began. She looked at me, all confused and slurring, and said, Wait, that wasn't you? Let me say that again. She said, Wait, that wasn't you. Like I wouldn't remember being at the party. Like she could confuse a stranger with her own husband. Like I'm an idiot. I lost it. I called her every name in the book. Her friend tried to defend her, saying she was too drunk to remember. I told them both to get the hell out of my house, and they did. I locked the door behind them and sat in my daughter's room on the floor all night. That's where I cried. Not just a little cry, I mean full on sobbing, because I knew in that moment it was over. The next morning, I made some calls. First, to my doctor. I needed a full panel STD test. Then I called a lawyer I knew through a friend. I also scheduled a paternity test for my daughter because something just didn't sit right with me. She didn't look much like me. And if my wife could do this, who knows what else she'd lied about. 3 weeks went by, radio silence. She didn't call, didn't come home, nothing. During that time, I got all my ducks in a row. The STD test came back clean, thankfully. But the paternity test? That one broke me all over again. She wasn't mine. The little girl I'd been raising for 4 years, changed her diapers, sang her to sleep, taught her ABCs, wasn't my daughter. And the worst part, I found out later that my wife already knew. When she finally did call, I let her talk. She cried. She apologized. She tried saying she didn't remember anything. I told her I had the divorce papers ready and the paternity test results were in. She screamed at me, said I was faking it, said the test must be wrong, said I was cruel. I told her I was done. When the court hearing started, she tried everything to squeeze money out of me, tried to get child support. That's when the judge ordered her to get the real father tested. Turned out to be a guy who owned a local cell phone store where she worked briefly years ago. One of those friendly bosses she swore was just a nice guy. I wanted to throw up. Eventually, the divorce went through. She didn't get a dime from me, and she sure as hell didn't get custody of a child that wasn't mine. She eventually moved out of state, and I haven't heard from her since. But not a day goes by that I don't think of that little girl. I raised her. I loved her like she was my own. And losing her was the hardest part. To any men reading this, get a paternity test. I don't care how faithful your wife seems. I don't care if the kid looks like you. Do it. Protect yourself. Because if I hadn't, I'd still be paying for a child that wasn't mine, emotionally and financially. You know, people always say women mature faster than men, but I swear, so many grown women today act like big damn children. No accountability, no impulse control, no understanding of consequences. You can't leave them unsupervised without something wild happening. And people will say that's misogynistic, but I lived it. All it took was one night, one party, one moment of fun, and my entire life was flipped upside down. I've moved on the best I can. Therapy helps. I keep busy. I've reconnected with family. I'm not dating. Still healing, honestly, but I'll be okay. And I'm sharing this not for pity, but to wake some other guy up before it's too late. Thanks for reading my story, man. Keep doing what you do. This channel is giving men a voice in a world that often silences us. Owen. Part 2. The Aftermath, Therapy, and Why Men Need Each Other. Hey, True Story, I'm back, man. I hope it's okay I'm sending this follow-up. I feel like what I shared last time about my ex-wife and the betrayal, the party, the paternity test, all of that, it needed to be told. But this part here, this is just as important. See, after everything came crashing down, I went through hell. And I don't just mean the legal battles, the paternity results, or the sleepless nights. I'm talking about the mental and emotional aftermath. The kind of wreckage you can't see in pictures or court transcripts. The kind of damage that doesn't show up on a blood test but eats you alive from the inside out. And that's what I want to talk about now. What happened after the dust settled? How I picked myself up? Why therapy was the best decision I ever made? And why spaces like True Story are vital for men like me. Let me rewind. After the divorce finalized, I was a mess. I was functioning. I still went to work, still paid bills, still smiled at the neighbor, but inside, I was hollow. I felt like I was just drifting. Everything I had thought was solid in my life turned out to be built on sand. There's this kind of silence that follows betrayal. It's not like the kind of silence when you're alone on a peaceful walk. It's the kind that screams at you, loud as hell, even though no one else hears it. That silence nearly broke me. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I pushed away my friends, ignored my mom's texts, even ghosted my cousin who called me to check in. I just couldn't bring myself to say it out loud again. She cheated, and the kid wasn't mine. It hurt every time I said it. But one night, I remember this so clearly, I was lying on the couch with the TV playing some rerun I wasn't even watching. I had a glass of whiskey in my hand, and about 5 more in me already. I was staring at the ceiling, and this thought came into my head. If I died right now, who would even care? That scared the hell out of me. I wasn't suicidal, not really, but the thought that I could vanish and it wouldn't matter. That made me realize I needed help, real help, not another drink, not another fake smile. I needed to talk to someone. So I Googled therapists in my area, and I found one who specialized in men's mental health. I called and made an appointment the next morning. Best damn call I ever made. My therapist's name is Greg. Middle-aged guy, bald, glasses, real calm voice, not the "how does that make you feel" type. More like the "let's figure out why this is still eating you up" type. From our first session, I knew I made the right choice. He asked me to walk him through everything, and I mean everything. From the moment I met my ex to the moment I got those paternity results in my hand. I sat there for over an hour just unloading. He didn't interrupt much, just nodded, asked clarifying questions, and let me vent. But after I finished, he leaned forward and said something I'll never forget. He said, "Owen, you didn't just lose a marriage. You lost your identity." I blinked. I never thought about it like that, but he was right. My identity was tied up in being a husband, a father, a protector, a provider. When all that was pulled out from under me, who the hell was I? That question became the core of our sessions. Every week for the next year, we dig a little deeper. He helped me process the betrayal, sure, but more importantly, he helped me rebuild myself. One session that stuck with me. He asked me why I hadn't told anyone I was in therapy. I said I didn't want to be seen as weak. That word had been drilled into me since I was a kid. Be strong, don't cry, man up. You know the drill. Greg looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You know what's weak? Pretending you're fine while dying inside. Real strength is admitting when you're hurt and doing something about it." That hit me like a truck. We talked a lot about masculinity, about how society expects us to just eat our pain and keep it moving. But that's what's killing us, literally. Men are dying in silence, hiding their pain behind work, alcohol, porn, meaningless hookups, or just flat out isolation. Greg told me that male suicide rates are alarmingly high, especially among divorced men, especially those who go through paternity fraud or public humiliation. And the worst part? Most of these men never reach out, never talk, never even try to get help. I could have been one of them. Another session, I remember, I was venting about how angry I still was. At her, at myself, at the world. I felt like I wasted years of my life. I said, "Why did this happen to me? I did everything right." And Greg asked, "What do you think doing everything right guarantees you?" I sat there quiet, because that's the hard truth, isn't it? We men are taught that if we work hard, stay loyal, provide, protect, and do all the right things, we'll be rewarded. Happy wife, happy life, kids that look up to you, stability. But life doesn't work like that. Not anymore. Doing everything right doesn't protect you from betrayal, lies, or heartbreak. That realization crushed me, but it also freed me. Because once you stop believing that hard work alone guarantees safety, you start building better boundaries and making smarter decisions. We also spent time talking about grief. People don't realize it, but divorce is grief. Losing a child, even one that's not biologically yours, is grief. And grief isn't just sadness, it's anger, denial, regret, depression, acceptance, all of it. I grieved that little girl like she had died. I missed her every single day. I kept one of her little socks in my drawer for months. It smelled like baby lotion. That was my connection to her. And one day in therapy, Greg asked if I was ready to let go of it. I said no. He said, then keep it. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It just means making peace. That helped more than I can explain. Look, I know a lot of guys might be reading this thinking, therapy ain't for me. I used to think the same, but let me tell you something. If you've been through betrayal, trauma, loss, or even just feel like life is too damn heavy, go talk to someone. Not your boys, not your barber, not your dog, an actual therapist. Because healing doesn't just happen. You gotta fight for it. You gotta unpack the damage, process the pain, and rewire the way you think. And that takes help and humility. And that brings me to this. Thank you, True Story. You don't know me personally, but this channel, this space, it helped me when I was in a dark place. I'd listen to stories from other men going through the same crap I was dealing with, and for the first time, I didn't feel alone. That's huge. That's life-changing. Because when you go through something like what I went through, the world doesn't rally around you. Nobody throws you a pity party. There's no support group for men who were lied to and betrayed by the woman they loved. There's no hotline for, I raised a child that wasn't mine, and now I'm broken inside. But here, on this channel, there is support. There are other men, brothers, strangers who understand. And that means everything. I want to encourage every guy listening or reading this. Don't isolate yourself. Don't bottle it up. You're not alone. I know it feels like you are, but trust me, you're not. There are millions of men out here who've been blindsided, betrayed, broken, and we're still standing. I'm not perfect. I still have rough days. Sometimes I still dream about that little girl calling me daddy. Sometimes I hear my ex-wife's voice in my head gaslighting me, and I want to scream, but I don't drown in it anymore. Because I have tools, I have clarity, and most importantly, I have me back. I'm building again. Slowly, I'm journaling, working out again, spending time with family. I've even started mentoring a younger guy at work going through his own divorce. Helping someone else helps me too. That's why I believe this is how we win, by sticking together, by sharing our stories, by pulling each other out of the trenches, because no one else is going to save us. No one's coming. It's us. We are the safety net for one another. So here's what I want to leave the fellas with. Get therapy. Seriously, not later. Now. Get a paternity test. Always, no exceptions. Document everything. Protect yourself legally. Find community, whether online or in person. Don't isolate. Know your worth. Don't let betrayal define you. And to the guy who might be reading this while lying on his couch, staring at the ceiling with a drink in his hand, wondering if it all even matters. You matter, brother. I see you. I was you. And you can get through this. Thank you again, True Story, for giving men like me a voice. Thank you for this space. And thank you to every man who's had the courage to write in. Your story might be helping someone more than you know. We don't heal in silence. We heal together. with respect and strength.